Hey everybody, Antoine Martel here. I also have Eric Martel here today. We're in Detroit, Michigan. We're doing a tour of a successful FlipSystem student's house. They just got an offer accepted on this house behind us for $165,000. So let's break down the numbers and the profit on this house. This client bought it for $100,000 3 months ago. They spent $30,000 in renovation, and they have an accepted offer today for $165,000. Minus realtor fees, minus blah, blah, blah. They're gonna make around $30,000 in profit without their financing costs. If this FlipSystem student had used financing and used a hard money lender like we recommend, they would have put in $30,000, invested $30,000, and made $20,000 in profit. So they invest $30,000, a couple months later, they would get a check for $50,000 back. Pretty crazy. That's like doubling your money in a few months.
So how long was this project?
The project, he bought it a couple months ago. Renovation was probably gonna be 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. And they have an offer, but the property, now that it has a signed offer, it's probably gonna close in 30 or 45 days. So they're probably another month away. So they've been in the project for around 3 months and they have another month to go until it's fully sold.
Yeah, and this exit strategy, this is not really the exit strategy that we recommend for new FlipSystem students. So what kind of strategy did he use for this particular property?
Yeah, great question. So he used the retail fix and flip model, which is where you buy a house, buy a vacant house, renovate it. You don't rent it out, you just put it back on the market and try to sell it to a family. So the retail fix and flip model is not a model that we push all the time because it does get a little bit risky. The reason why is because you don't have somebody paying the mortgage every single month. The real estate investors that haven't done deals before, we recommend the turnkey fix and flip model because you have a tenant in there right away. You have multiple exit strategies. You can always refinance it, list it on the market, sell it on a turnkey website, right? Or just keep it for yourself.
Yeah. Well, beautiful living room.
Yep.
Fantastic hardwood floor. Love the, the paint job, good paint job. And the windows, I love the windows as well. When we looked at the, from the outside, the windows look fantastic.
I don't know if they're original, but they look like
They
original.
They look original.
Hardwood floors as well that they just cleaned and made look pretty again. The new paint. The house smells good too, which is something that you can't really see on video, but we walked a ton of these houses and you come into a house and it still smells terrible even after the renovation, which is a big turn off. Cool, big one over here. We got the kitchen, which is probably the biggest thing that we look at when walking all these houses. So we got brand new Formica countertops, brand new cabinets, brand new sink here. This looks to be old, but you can see they still have all the plastic on all this. So all brand new backsplash. So it looks fantastic in here. And what you'll notice too is there's no fridge, right? So most of the time we don't put in appliances into these properties. We actually let the end buyer or the renter, the tenant, bring in their own stuff. Most of the time people already own a fridge, so when they move into a new place and it has a fridge already, they are not sure what to do. Also, if you are gonna rent out the property, it's best to not have the appliances, which didn't happen here, but most of the time if you are renting out a property, you don't wanna have the appliances, you want the tenant to bring their own. It just lowers the maintenance tickets that you have to deal with. And you'll see like even the stove too, which is gonna go right here where the gas is, didn't put a stove, didn't put a fridge. The only thing that they have behind you is the dishwasher.
And it really depends also on the culture, which city you're in, and what you're trying to do with the house. If you're going to sell it again on the retail market, you don't want to put appliances unless it's really going to, add some character to the place, or it's kind of built in or semi-custom. On the rental space, normally we don't provide them, but it does happen sometimes that it could help with the rent if you provide appliances. So we've done that in Tennessee for some units, for example, where we actually put some appliances to help rent the unit and get a little bit higher rent. In general, we don't want that because we don't want to, as Antoine was saying, we don't want to have to deal with fixing fridges and all that kind of stuff.
All right, so we're gonna go down to the basement, the most important part of the house. Door leading to outdoors, right? We got this here, so it's kind of like a halfway point which goes down to the basement. But then also pretty interesting, we have another bathroom here. Pretty much all original stuff. I think maybe this whole thing looks new toilet. This looks old and original, but I mean, it's clean, and it's another way to add. I'm glad they kept it and just demo it and make it into a closet, because this adds a lot of value to a property. And again, like things don't have to be perfect. You don't have to make everything. This house sold for $165,000 in 2 weeks with keeping all of this original.
Welcome to the basement. This is very important. A lot of people are kind of afraid to go in the basement. And often, I think when you're buying the property, it is often like a disaster, dirty, it smells bad, and all that kind of stuff. But this is very important that you, as an investor, or whoever is going through the house, you have to look at the basement and see what's going on. In this case, obviously the house was renovated. You can see that it's very clean. And one of the first things, use all your senses. Obviously looking, feel free to touch also the wall and see if they're damp, if there's any kind of issues. And also the smell, I think it's pretty important. So if you walk in and it smells damp, well, that's probably because there's some moisture that's seeping into the wall, and then you have to kind of like look around and see what's going on there. The other thing too that I like to look at is kind of like the supporting beam. So these are the beams that are supporting the floor above, obviously. And I'm looking for any kind of anomaly, things that are bowing, things that are hanging, that shouldn't be there, and then see if there's any problem. Sometimes you can also see like water problem, rot, things that don't look quite right. Then that could be an indication. You don't have to be an expert, a structural engineer, to notice that, hey, this is crooked, this beam is missing, there's a section missing in this beam. So you can imagine that it's not going to supporting the floor above as well. But I mean, this looks great, this looks very clean, so no issues there.
All right, the other thing to look for is the hot water tank and the furnace or HVAC. So the hot water tank is going to be important because this, if it looks like crap, like you see, it's probably rusted out down there. This can cost you around $1,000 to replace. Now this thing, which is the HVAC, this does all your cold air and warm air and all that kind of stuff. All the heating and ventilation for the entire property. This, if you have to replace it, or if you don't see one of these down here, that can cost you up to $10,000. Typically, if you have to replace, just the unit here, it could cost you $5,000 if you have to redo, blah, blah, blah. So anything from $5,000 to $10,000 for this thing, which this thing looks pretty good, looks pretty dialed in. This looks very old, and I can just see some rust down there as well. The other thing to look for or look at is going to be the electrical panel. So this electrical panel looks new, looks like in good shape. You can actually sometimes come in here and read it. Again, you don't need to speak electrician to read it, but it's actually going to tell you the year of this plate. And you just want it to be, I think, in the last 10 or 20 years, I believe, is a good range. Some of these, when you come and look at this, it's going to look like you're actually going to see wires, and it's going to look like fuses and all that kind of stuff, which is going to be a really, really old electrical system. The other thing you want to look for is the number of slots. The more slots, the better, is what I've been told before. So sometimes you'll open these things up, it'll be a tiny little box with like 3 slots like this, and that may be something you'll have to replace, especially with today with TVs and microwaves and kitchen appliances. You want as many slots as possible. That just means that this unit has a lot more ampage, which means that you can run multiple things at any given time, and your tenant or the new owner is not going to complain about the electrical not working and fuses exploding. Ready? All right, welcome to the upstairs. We have bathroom, bedroom number 1, bedroom number 2, and bedroom number 3. So 3 bedrooms up here, 1 bathroom up here, and 1 bathroom downstairs, like we saw. So this is a 3-2 property, and typically in Detroit, most properties are 3 bedroom, 1 bath. So this being a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, again, like I mentioned, him keeping that extra bathroom probably helped the value of the property a ton, because 3-2 properties are very rare. All right, so this is the bedroom. Again, probably the most boring thing to walk ever, but there is new windows in here, which is fantastic. You can see because of the stickers, they put a new light, they did paint, has beautiful original hardwood floors that they kept immaculate, and then it looks like they put on new doors and stuff like that. So this one looks like master, and then there's more stuff deposits, and same thing, new windows, new lights, and then the beautiful hardwood floor, and also has the So this is just one of the bedrooms that has carpet. It's a smaller bedroom. I think it was probably a budgeting issue, and also they probably tore this up. The carpet up, like the old carpet, and then they saw like rotting wood, or the wood just looked weird, or maybe it was like completely different color, different style, and they couldn't match the original. So what they did here again is just put brand new carpet on. I think it looks totally fine. Some people may even like that because one kid likes the carpet, one doesn't, one wants a hardwood, one doesn't.
In Detroit, there's a winter. So having a carpet, sometimes people really like to have a carpet in the bedrooms. When they get out of bed, they want to put their feet on the carpet. So it's not unusual. It's not a bad decision. That's why it's an easy compromise. If you don't have the budget to do it for whatever reason, carpet is a perfectly good idea.
All right, the last and final room of the entire tour is the final bathroom. So again, a new backsplash. Looked like they repainted and resealed the entire tub, which is fantastic. Looks like a new toilet. Looks like they left this here, and then a brand new vanity as well.
It's worth spending the money on a new toilet, new sink, new bathtub if you have that in the budget. I think these are the big things that people are looking at. They're looking at bathrooms, they're looking at kitchens, and then they're looking at, you know, the curb appeal.
Yep. All right, finish the video. I can walk it up. You're good, right?
One of the questions I had is about that FlipSystem student. Did they have any experience doing real estate investing before joining FlipSystem?
No, I think he was like a software guy and he had a business in New York.
How long has he been in the program?
I think he's been a part of the program for like 6 months, and I think this is probably his second or third deal.
So didn't know anything about real estate, 6 months in the program, 3 deals, and the last one, $30,000 profit. I don't know how much you made in the other one, but you too can do it. So
You can do it as well. If you want our help, you want to learn more about us, go to FlipSystem.com and you can schedule a phone call with our team, and we'll see you on the next one.